In this problem, we are going to find the domain and range of the given function graph in interval notation. Here we have a graph, and we see that it has arrows on both ends. Recall that when you see arrows on both ends of your graph, this means that the graph is going to be going on continuously in both given directions. Now, we are to find the domain and range of this particular graph. In order to find these two items, we must consider the x values for the domain and the y values for the range. Now, when I'm looking at my domain, in order to put this in interval notation, I want to look furthest to the left along the x-axis, all the way to the right. Remember the arrows we talked about before. This graph is going to continue onwards forever to the left. So the lowest value that this x could take would be negative infinity. Similarly, if we look on the right side of the graph, we are continuing forever in the positive x-axis direction. So my graph will go onwards to positive infinity. Now we need to talk about symbols. Infinities are values that we can never hit. We can only approach them. So since this is true, we are going to have a parenthesis around each infinity on the domain. Domain was about the x's, now range is about the y's. Domain, we look from left to right. Range, we will look from the bottom to the top as we are looking along the y-axis. When we look at this particular graph, we notice that the lowest part of it crosses down at -2. In terms of how high our graph goes, because these arrows are continuing forever to the left and right as well as up, we are going to say this will go to infinity. Now, like with the domain, infinity will still take on the parenthesis symbol. However, looking at the -2, that particular value is included in the graph. When we're talking about a value that is included in the graph, we are going to use the bracket symbol. Our domain for this particular graph is from -infinity to positive infinity, and our range is from -2 to positive infinity. When determining the domain and range of a function, make sure to look left to right for your domain and then bottom to top for your range. Parentheses if we are trying to not include the point, and brackets if we are including it.